quoting process takes place in Word document. So for the management, there is no visibility on what's happening. And on top of that, you are losing basically control, and you introduce a lot of errors in the process.
Hi, and welcome to the Digital Trailblazers podcast, a show where we talk with the professionals who have trusted solutions from the Salesforce ecosystem and led their organizations on the path to digital transformation. If you're wondering how to plan a technology implementation, what to pay attention to, which mistakes to avoid, and how to prepare your team for change, you're in the right place. Hi, and welcome to the Digital Trailblazers podcast run by Cloudity. Today's topic is Salesforce Revenue Cloud Advanced and what it means for the market as well as for the Salesforce CPQ customers, which existed for nearly a decade. I'm your host, Dima Rashidov, account executive and digital transformation advisor. I work with European enterprises in my day-to-day. And for today's topic, I've invited Xavier Marette, who leads Revenue Cloud implementation practice for more than 7 years now at Cloudity. Xavier, maybe a short introduction about you.
First of all, thanks, Dima, for the invitation. I'm partner at Cloudity. I lead the Revenue Cloud business unit for the last 7 years, as you mentioned, and I'm basically helping my customers to digitize their quote-to-cash journey on the Salesforce platform. Maybe some figures for you. So now we have a team of 20 people that are delivering this kind of project. We have over 50 CPQ projects delivered for the last 7 years, and we have also experienced delivering billing projects. And now, and we'll be discussing today about that, there is like the new Revenue Cloud Advanced. We are fully shifting our competencies into Revenue Cloud Advanced project.
Thank you, Xavi. So maybe let's do a small recap of what Salesforce CPQ was and what it was used for essentially for customers. Could you share a little bit about this?
Yes, sure. So CPQ stands for configure, price, quote. So in short, it's a quoting tool that you install on the Salesforce platform. And it helps the customers to configure, as I mentioned, price and quote according to the company's policy. What we observed with most of our customers is that the quoting process is typically a black box. Quoting process takes place in spreadsheets. Quoting process takes place in Word document. So for the management, there is no visibility on what's happening. And on top of that, you are losing basically control, and you introduce a lot of errors in the process. So really, CPQ is a tool that digitizes your quote to order.
So now to add more context to the current situation, somewhere around the beginning of 2025, Salesforce put out an official announcement that Salesforce CPQ that existed for nearly a decade will not be sold anymore. So the communication was that it's end of sale. Is that correct?
Yes, this is correct. And I would say there are like many reasons for this move, but I would like highlight 3 main ones. So first of all, on the Salesforce platform, there are like many types of CPQ. So we talk about CPQ, but there's also something called CPQ industries. And there was like also another CPQ on the Salesforce platform. So basically, there are many flavors of CPQ. And here the intention is to rationalize the CPQ solution into one unique application. The second one is that Salesforce used to grow by acquisition. So you mentioned that CPQ is for a decade in the platform, and CPQ used to be Steelbrick, and it was like purchased by Salesforce. So it was part of the platform, but not fully integrated with the Salesforce platform. And it's not the only applications that is moved to the platform. We see the same move, for example, for marketing as well. So here, the second reason is really to have like everything part of the platform itself and to increase the compatibility. And the last one, and probably is the most important one, I would say, is that, there is a race now about AI readiness. And here really Salesforce understands that there is a fight at the level of the data. So it's really important that you have a consistent database into your platform. So that's also the reason why we'll have like a CPQ that is fully compatible with all of the other clouds on the Salesforce platform.
Interesting. So then let's focus a little more about what exactly the end of sale of CPQ actually means for customers, and what exactly should the market expect in terms of this. Does end of sale mean, for example, that if I have CPQ as a customer or owner of a business, I'm not able to use it anymore in the coming months or until the end of the year? Or is that somehow different?
I would say that for the last 3 months, we received 10 requests like this for our existing customers, asking us, so guys, I'm about to renew my licenses with Salesforce, and I received information that this is end of sales. So I want this to be clear here. End of sales doesn't mean end of life. It doesn't mean end of renewals, and it doesn't mean end of support. So it means that existing CPQ customer, they can and they will, for a certain time, be able to continue using the CPQ solution. So there's like no panic right now to say that what should I do about this? But for sure, you need to start thinking about like transitioning and understand what this solution, Revenue Cloud Advanced, is about.
So in this case, let's imagine that me as a business owner that has Salesforce CPQ in the team and has been using it for some time now, I decide to stay on CPQ for some time still. If this is not a panicking situation and if I have the ability, I do, then what exactly should I expect and what kind of challenges can I expect in terms of CPQ's development in the coming months or years?
Well, that's obvious, I guess, for all the listeners that CPQ won't benefit anymore from any more updates. The whole focus from Salesforce perspective will be on the new CPQ. So obviously CPQ, the old one, I would call it like this, is stable, is fully up and running, but it won't benefit from any new features, right? And the features that the market is looking for. Moving forward on this, it means that you lower the compatibility with the other clouds. There is a lot of noise about Agentforce for the last couple of months, and there will continue to be some noise about this. And Revenue Cloud Advanced, so the new CPQ, is compatible with Agentforce. CPQ, as it is not fully compatible with Agentforce. So basically, you kind of like slowly but steady building kind of a technical depth compared to what the market is offering as features. And the last one, and we'll be talking about ourselves, about Cloudity. So we're a Salesforce partner, and 80-90% of my resources today, they are working on Revenue Cloud Advanced project. So it means that the CPQ expertise becomes a niche. So there will be less and less experts in the market to support the CPQ customers.
This sounds like a good moment to slowly transition to the topic of Revenue Cloud Advanced. What is exactly Revenue Cloud Advanced, and how does it differentiate itself from Salesforce CPQ that was actually the flagship solution of Salesforce when it comes to quote-to-cash processes? Is it just a newer version of RCA, or is there something more to it?
So people may think that, okay, LCA is a new name Salesforce used to provide like creative naming for the products. It's not only about labeling a product, it's really a full new versions of CPQ with a different data model, with a different ability to configure your processes, and also, I would call it, ready to address what we see on the market. For example, companies, SaaS companies, they are moving, similar to Salesforce, to the consumption-based model. So you don't want your current application, CPQ, to limit your growth because it cannot address your new business model and the business model that the market is looking for. On the technical side, I would say that it was mentioned before, it's on the platform, so it's core product. It's fully integrated with all the other clouds, Service Cloud, Sales Cloud, and any other clouds. Also, we will be talking about potentially today about B2B commerce. And it's also, how to call it, richer compared to the old licenses, because Salesforce will introduce what we call a CLM tool, Contract Lifecycle Management tool, and also what we call dynamic revenue orchestration, and a lot of intelligence on top. Last but not least, CPQ was really hard to integrate with third-party solutions like EAPs, like purchasing applications. SEA is API headless. Okay, and one more thing, Dima, I think is worth to mention. CPQ was a great tool for direct sales. But if you start as a SaaS company to, for example, have a reseller networks, that you want also to implement a self-service platform for your customer to purchase without any sales touch point, then CPQ was quite limited in this area. And Salesforce Revenue Cloud Advanced comes with the philosophy that you can leverage your pricing policy, your quoting tool, anywhere within Salesforce, outside of Salesforce, so you can expose your configurator to your resellers, to your distributors, to your end customers, and they will, on their own, purchase your product. And this is one of the key, I would call it, advantage of Revenue Cloud Advanced compared to CPQ.
And actually, this feels like a good moment to finish the first half of the podcast dedicated to the topic of Revenue Cloud Advanced. Stay tuned for part 2. That's all for today. The next episode is coming soon. If you want to stay up to date, we invite you to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite streaming platform. See you next time.